Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Lena, being a hero, there is no higher calling. Your sister understood something about that.
I should have come back for you.
No. That's just a fairy tale.
I was in high school when the Avengers came. Kind of strange that it's all over now. No one's coming to save the day.
I think we are. We can be the ones that are coming.
But you have the wrong people. We have all done bad things.
Look, I've been where you are. The past doesn't go away. So you can either live with it forever, or you can do something about it.
I am a void. Look what you unleashed. You can't outrun the emptiness.
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
We all have things that we regret.
But I have so many.
Hello. This is Adolf, and I have with me New Jake.
Hi, everybody.
And today we're reviewing Thunderbolts in the Spoilercast. And previously y'all got to watch it, and I was late to the game, and I got to see it last weekend. Unfortunately, I only got to watch it in 2D, just because there's very few theaters that are left that are able to see it, and the times are all kind of weird. And
yeah, fair enough.
So it's just sometimes it's just easier. It's like, all right, we're gonna watch it now. We're gonna watch it like in Disney Plus in 2 months because it's sometimes it is what it is. So I wanted to watch it, and this is, I guess, before we get into the spoilers, to talk about my thoughts on this movie. And basically, I agree with your review. I really enjoyed it, and the heart it had to it was shocking, and the depth here is fantastic. I was really not expecting it. I know I read your review, I know you talked about it, but actually seeing it and you're like, damn, they're actually doing something special here, and had a real kind of depth to these characters, a real sense of, whoa, this is much more than what it is. It's not just an action movie. There's a soul to here, and there's something that's really shocking about it, and I never would have expected or wanted to have my superhero movie mix with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but now that I have it, I love it. Being able to
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, be able to jump back and forth between what's going on in their head and what's going on outside was not jarring, and there's just a more depth to the characters that are shown. And the action here is a lot of great fun, and I love the characters here. And like the one character that is not there for most of the movie, I don't really care about, because I never really cared about that character to begin with. So, like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. And unfortunately, the spoiler that you told me to avoid, I did try my best from avoiding, but it is basically almost impossible to avoid that after the release.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually saw it as I was like going through different news websites, like I think it was like Hollywood Reporter, and they're like, "What's this?" I was like, "Oh, damn it!" And then when I actually went to go buy tickets on Fandango, they don't even try. It has a new title there. And it's like, come on, man. So
it's getting worse.
yeah, I get it. I get why Marvel did this. But still. So I guess for me, the score, I agree with you 100%. I give it a 9 as well. So there's some character stuff that could have been a little bit stronger. They could have had a little bit more resolution, but I feel like they did a great job. And having, would have liked to have more scenes of characters and their backstory and having that hardness to their life shown. but I'm fine with what they did show, and I thought it was really well done. It just a little bit more here and there, and you're absolutely right about Harbor. Oh my God, Harbor's fantastic here, and Pugh's she gives a one hell of a performance as well.
Oh yeah.
So those performances really stand out, and it really helps to make for Florence Pugh and David Harbour are just treasures, and I am happy to have them be much more of a focus in the future because yeah, that they just play off of each other so well, and there's such a good wholesomeness to that dynamic that I really enjoy. So yeah, um, that's my take on it without going into spoilers. Again, you said it was a 9 as well. Do you have anything else you want to say before we get into spoilers, or not really?
Uh, I said all I said during the podcast last time in my review, but just go see it. It's probably the best post Endgame Marvel movie.
I think I might give Guardians 3 a little bit more, but it's up there. It's definitely top tier.
I mean, oh yeah.
And we'll get into it. But that's going to be it for this little bit of a spoiler free before we get into the spoiler filled section of this review. Definitely recommend it. And I've read some people online were like, oh, actually, I have not caught up with a lot of Marvel, and I jumped into this, and I really enjoyed it. It's good standalone as well as being a sequel to other stuff, and that's how it should be. And obviously, if you actually did watch Black Widow, you're going to gain so much out of it.
Oh yeah.
But it's fine. How they were able to present itself was really well done, and this is a really smart way to handle a lot. That's been a problem with a lot of Marvel was that they have these TV shows that they build from, but if you don't watch those TV shows, they have to give you exposition dumps, and it kind of just feels awkward. And how this movie did it was really smart and really well handled. So
yeah,
it worked. And even if you
Yeah,
already you watched the shows, you're not bombarded with stuff you already know.
yeah. It's almost as if that the TV shows don't really need to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, and yeah. All right, let's get to the spoilers.
All right.
The new Avengers.
Yeah, the worst kept secret. I mean, I think everybody knew, especially if you're a comic book fan, knew they were going to be the new Avengers because that's what happens. But come on, you could at least kept it going for at least a month before you switched the posters over. So dumb.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, new Avengers? Oh, I want to click on that. I was like, oh, the Thunderbolts. Okay. No! Stupid news article. You spoiled it for me. I didn't know that. But obviously, when I got the tickets, I would have saw that too. How they were able to do that, the credits actually worked really well too. How they ripped it and had new Avengers. And this actually works pretty well as a sequel to Captain America, Brave New World. I liked how they would incorporate those elements into this.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing there might be a new Avengers or Dark Avengers in the lineup somewhere.
Yeah.
So it wasn't completely out of the blue, and I was like, I don't remember what the hell Thunderbolts is. And the fact that they kind of tease about it in the movie itself, I think was really smart. And I really liked Sebastian Stan in this. I mean, I've always liked Bucky as a character, but he's so good in this. And the one thing I did not understand this. There's a line from Val that says, "Oh, you're only half a term as congressman. I thought you'd last longer." What does that mean? That you'll last longer doing Avenger stuff, or did he get fired, or did he quit or something? I don't. That line kind of threw me off.
Yeah, because he literally just became congressman in Brave New World, which spoilers for that movie too. But yeah,
so
I don't know that.
Oh, we should have a quote of Bob. How many times we could say Bob in this podcast if we could try to match the minute Bobs that put in the movie because they said Bob a
Bob.
lot of times in the movie, right?
They did. Yep. They did.
I was gonna give you the opportunity there to say Bob, but
Bob. Robert.
Robbie,
Robert.
Bobby,
Rob.
Bob. All right, enough. The character is actually pretty good, and I don't know that much about the Century, but they're able to present him in a way that was actually compelling and interesting, and you got enough of his backstory to be like, okay, I know who this guy is. I don't think Century has any kind of weaknesses, though, does he?
Besides internal struggle, I don't think he does.
Yeah.
He's almost like Superman, but like I don't know too much about Sentry to have any authority about that.
Okay, I googled it right now. It said his weaknesses is the negative zone, dimension of unstable energy. Okay. Antimatter.
Mm,
Okay. So he's been vulnerable to fighting antiman matter. Mental manipulation, of course. Okay, because his fragile mind. Spiritual energy, like chi. Okay. Interesting. Of course, void. And yeah, kind of upper level kind of stuff.
yeah. So mental anguish is his number one enemy. Got it.
Yeah, and like super extensive kind of things that are like cosmic and
Yeah.
otherworldly, I suppose, magic kind of thing. Not your basic stuff. You can't just stab him or shoot him. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
The suit looked really good too. I was actually really happy how the suit looked.
Yeah.
Marvel's always been good about putting the suits, but especially in this one, it looked great.
Yeah. Maybe U.S. agent suit, especially from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, was not great because he looked like a baby.
Yeah.
Captain America suit, but I mean, yeah.
And I was like, the Void was so well done. I was kind of surprised. We're not gonna like say each plot point like we usually do. We're just gonna jump around. How the Void, like, they turned on the kill switch and then he became the Void, and it was just surprising how terrifying it really was, being literally just a black figure with white eyes. And like,
Yeah.
in comic books, that totally flies. In like a movie, oh, that's gonna look ridiculous. In this, it looked totally cool.
Yeah, the shadow, like it almost seemed like they used the darkest material ever made, and they just slapped it on Lewis Pullman or Bob.
And how
But yeah,
he used his powers to make like Hiroshima shadows. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely
yeah, that was
terrifying.
scary. Yeah.
And how he was able to like just rip, no one was able to stop it, and it was just really terrifying as an audience watching it, and you're like, oh shit. And he just like made little girls into shadows. Like, damn.
Yeah. Like kids aren't immune from it.
It's like, man. And gotta give Florence Pugh a clap when she was like, no, I'm gonna walk into this and help him.
Yeah.
And that after the speech that Harbor had, oh my God, I was clapping a little bit, and I was like, this is damn good little speech, damn good monologue. He's delivering this, and Pugh is reacting perfectly. This is better acting than most Marvel.
Oh yeah.
And how they're able like to literally break through different scenes, really well shot and really well visually done. It's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a great look into Bob's inner his
yeah,
inner thought.
and how Bob was tortured as a young person, and seeing Bob as he looks over his like parents yelling at him, and yeah, it's very compelling, and you see it. You're not shown, you're shown, not told about it, and that's a very, very distinct, good movie making that you actually see what is going on, and oh, okay, I get it. You know, you don't have to tell me my dad was abusive. You could see it, and it hits harder.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting
Just like his dad.
Yeah, I was not expecting the chicken fight.
No. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's like Family Guy here.
It gave him a bad coupon.
That was back when it had meth. I was like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
What scene spoilery was really great in 3D? I imagine that last sequence, when they were trying to get to the void in like the lab. I imagine that could have looked really good in 3D. Was that great in 3D or no?
It was good, but like where it was kind of dim. It wasn't fantastic 3D, but like whenever the laboratory equipment was coming towards like Florence Pugh's character and them, it was pretty solid.
Okay, I was like, okay, this is gonna be the scene that looked really good, and like you said, beginning the first shot of her jumping off the building, which she actually did, so that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I mentioned it before in the not so spoilery section, but like, I don't give a two shits about Taskmaster dying at all.
Yeah, I know she was sort of, but not really the main villain of Black Widow, but there was no character presence or anything, so her getting shot in the head just had no never mind to my day.
And it's like, you know what? It does show their stakes that people can die, but you know what? I'm glad she's gone. I don't care for her at all. I actually liked everyone else, so it's like, I don't, okay, that makes sense. That's the way to do it. And it was still a shock. I was, it's like, okay, I, imagine one of them might die, but it was just like, damn, just like that simple as that, just a headshot, not even like, accident or anything. It was on purpose, and it just hit harder.
Yep.
And how they got out of the tunnel, like using their backs and their legs, I thought that was really well done. That's like Marvel 101. Great stuff.
Yeah, that was a good scene in 3D, seeing like the down angle and up angle, just like, oh god, the height. Ugh.
But yeah, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do that. And like, oh yeah, that's a way of doing it, and that's a way to kind of get the characters to kind of work together. And U.S. Agent is such a dick, but I like him. He's a character of a dick, but he's portrayed it well.
Yeah. There's a reason he's not Captain America anymore.
Yeah.
That and he murders somebody in cold blood in front of everybody.
Yeah. And like, that wasn't the scene that he regrets the most. It was him being on his phone when his kid is crying. That's the scene? Jesus.
I mean, I guess because he loved his wife more than anything, but yeah. He was just he was too self-absorbed into himself that he didn't pay attention to his child, and he didn't pay attention to his crumbling marriage. He was just like self-absorbed, like, how come I'm not famous anymore? How come I'm not Captain America?
Yeah. It was a damning critique of him. It's like, dude, come on. You literally killed someone with the shield and had blood splattered all over it. And that was not because he was drunk or high or anything. It was because he lost control of himself, and that should definitely haunt him. But nope.
Yeah. Well, it was because it was, he was just hot-headed at that point because his friend had just killed. I can't remember if it was the guy that he killed actually did the murder or not, but yeah. Yeah.
I kind of wanted to see like other shots. Like we didn't get to see Red Guardian's dark scene. We didn't get to see
Yeah.
um, who else? We did not. Ghost's scene either.
Yeah. You didn't
Um,
get to see Taskmasters either. Oh.
yeah, but it's fine. I don't care. But like, I would have wanted to
Yeah.
have that because we don't. This is the second time we see Ghost, and like she was barely in. You know, you might have even say that she was almost invisible or intangible. Oh, in Ant-Man and the
Yeah.
Wasp. Puns
Yeah.
intended. I know it's awful, but damn it, it's good too. So I would have liked to have a little bit more of her, and of course, David Harbour is a treasure, and
Oh
having
yeah.
more of him, I would have always loved that. So like you could break through but I liked how they're all kind of hugging them, and um, you know, I definitely think that it's a great cause for like counseling, and it's like, yeah, I think the coach thrown in the line. Yeah, we need to get some counseling. We need to get some psychiatrists in here to help us out. This is pretty hardcore
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And Val, that surprised the hell out of me. How she, whenever they're trying to go after her, and then she had the press conference. I was like, oh my god, that's brilliant.
Yeah. That was funny.
And how do you say her name? I always Val
Valentina. Um. Oh God, what is? Let me look it up.
de la Fuente. No. Um.
Valentina Allegra. De Fontaine.
And Julia Dreyfus is fantastic in this.
Yeah. Although I can't really see her as being of like South American Latino heritage, really, because it's Julie Louis Dreyfus.
Yeah.
She's still good in the role. She kind of appropriately. It kind of made me think of her character in Veep a little bit, just kind of backstabby and like self-absorbed.
Yeah, and she portrays it really well. That you really kind of just don't like her, but you like her how well she portrays it. Um, but yeah, it's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's really well made. I thought it was very satisfying to see Red Guardian in the grocery store for the mid-credit scene, seeing the Wheaties box.
For a second there, I thought that was Aquafina from Shang-Chi. I thought that was her character there for a second. I thought that would be kind of a cute little tease, but I still liked it. It's like, that's us on Viti's box.
And that was like the thing that he wanted the most, and he finally got it, and no one cares. And he's shaved.
Yeah.
And then the actual post-credit scene of teasing Fantastic Four, which I was like, oh yes, thank you. And having it to be a few months later, and now they're a team, they're in Avengers Tower. It's like, okay. And then I was like,
Yeah.
wait, did they just spoil Fantastic Four and do it for steps? Because it kind of seems like they kind of spoiled it.
Yeah. Well, another thing about that scene is it wasn't in 3D.
Oh, it
The
wasn't?
the
Okay.
Wheaties scene was, but it wasn't. It was flat. I'm like, why? Like, if anything, it should have been the cereal scene that was not in 3D. Why was this one flat?
Huh.
It sucked.
Because I think me and Classic Jake were joking around that it's like, oh, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a little bit dark for Marvel, but like if the Fantastic Four in their movie Galactus actually wins, and then they just jump out of the universe, go to our universe, and that's how they come over here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, this
Like,
basically
they're
confirmed
cowards.
it.
Yeah. Like, now it's just like, okay, do I want to? I mean, of course I'm going to watch it, but do I need to watch it? That's the thing.
Yeah, because like, okay, I guess they came over here, but yeah, there's not that many things that could really stand up to Galactus, so it's understandable if they're the only superheroes on that version of Earth. I don't think that they could really take on. I mean, in the comics they have, but if they're gonna make him really comic accurate, Galactus is such a huge deal, literally and figuratively. No one
Yeah.
can really defeat Galactus. Very few characters can.
I just hope
Um,
it's on a gas cloud like it was in the original film,
yeah. Oh yeah. In Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Oh, yeah, that's the one, yeah.
People are saying that Silver Surfer looks better than the Silver Surfer in this new one, and it's like it's still not 100% done movie, but it looks fine. I don't care.
I think it's because it's the color palette is a little bit more saturated than it was in the candy-colored Fantastic Four movies from the mid 2000s. So that's probably why. And there's also the sexism angle.
Yeah.
Because even though it's a different character, it's not that Silver Surfer. It's I forgot her actual name, but it's a different Silver Surfer. And
Yeah, and different universes. Obviously, this is a different universe than they have, so it makes sense.
yeah.
But whatever. So yeah, I was like, damn, okay, cool. But also, oh, I guess you ruined the movie for me, so I know what's gonna happen. That they're gonna survive and go to this other universe at the end or something. Okay.
Or what if it's Victor Von Doom on that ship? Maybe he escaped in that ship. I mean, it could be anything. Maybe that's why Doomsday in next year's. Maybe that's how it gets started. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. That works.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thunderbolts, aka New Avengers, fantastic. Pun
Yeah.
intended again. Sorry, I can't help myself. Sometimes you just gotta take the low hanging fruit.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I agree with your 9, and I think some of the wrap up was a little bit easy. Just having a
Yeah.
hug, and I think if they would have killed Red Guardian, I would have been so fucking pissed. But I would have that would have pushed me to
Yeah.
like a 10, because after that speech, if Red Guardian would have died, oh, that would
Yeah.
have been epic as hell, and that would have pushed it over. But I was like, I don't want him to die,
Yeah.
but that would have been how they could have pushed it over.
Good sacrifice. Yeah.
And obviously some of the other things are just really basic, like Bob. You just know that he was a drug addict guy. You don't know, and that he had a horrible past, but you don't know that much about him. And they kind of show off his
Right.
powers, but they don't really say all the powers, because I don't know what powers he doesn't have.
Well, the power of gripping his id and his ego to not be a split personality.
His energy absorption and projection, molecular manipulation, teleportation, invisibility, immortal regeneration, telekinesis, dark manipulation, and other abilities like shapeshifting. It's basically, but okay. And of course, strength, speed, agility, flight, immortality, essentially. So,
Yeah. So Superman. but
which
a
I
little bit
loved
better.
how they teased that in the movie.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, are you making some kind of super? And they're like, person. It's like, yeah, I see what you're doing there.
I bet Warner Bros. Like, no, we got a Superman movie coming out in a few months. You can't do that. Reshoot it or redub it, something.
Yeah. So, that was clever though. I kind of appreciated how they did that, because everyone has mentioned that the Sentry is a copy of Superman, which, I mean, in some ways, yeah, but not all of the ways. Obviously, the whole darkness side of Void is not at all, but it's a cool, different thing aspect that he is his own worst villain, because whenever he gets out of control, the Void takes over and it just consumes everything.
Mhm.
And yeah,
I wonder if the Void or Sentry is going to be an Endgame, or not Endgame. Shit, Doomsday.
yeah. I think they mentioned, I think that was one of the stupid chairs they have or whatever.
Okay.
I mean, who else could kill him. I don't know who else. They have to have
Deadpool will find a way. Or they'll do the Ant-Man theory where we've got to go up his ass. What? Let me go there and expand. Okay.
So, yeah, Thunderbolts is great. Really much better than I originally thought it was going to be as well. I felt like the trailers looked good. It looked enjoyable, but like to actually have the emotional depth really helped a lot. And it really made it into a better movie than it looked like it would have been. A bit stronger than its parts, I guess. So, all right. Anything else you want to mention, spoiler-wise?
No, just go see it. Go see the new Avengers, and hopefully it doesn't ruin Fantastic Four. The ending, at least.
Oh, I did like that Sam got pissed off that the Avengers were named and he wasn't part of it, and he wants to like think about having a different Avengers name. That was funny.
Oh yeah.
Because like, isn't there like, I think it was for DC for Justice League, but isn't there like West Coast and East Coast Avengers and shit like that?
Yeah. I don't know if they have different names, but yeah.
Yeah, and then like there's even like a Great Lakes Avengers and shit like that.
I'm the Avenger from Lake Ontario.
Yeah, I'm the Avengers from Texas.
Howdy, y'all.
Texas has its own Avengers? Yeah, we're a big state.
I'm from the Northern Panhandle.
Yep, and that guy's from Dallas. And that guy's from Houston, and that guy's from Corpus. It's a big state. And that guy's from El Paso. that girl, you know, the whole state.
I got the El Paso Avenger.
What kind of border nonsense could that powerful person have? You know, I don't know.
Ugh.
All right, I guess that's gonna how we end it.
Yes, current political turmoil. Love it.
Yeah. All right, man. That's gonna be it for this. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my super VIP patrons. Thank you, Alex Folk, Gravity Head Zero, and MK Ultra. So I got one quick thing to talk about. We have a merch store. Woohoo! We got t-shirts, we got tote bags, we got magnets, we got stickers, we got a little bit of everything. Woohoo! At this merch store, 3dor2d.com/store, you'll find many original designs and affordable prices. That website again is 3dor2d.com/store. Woohoo! You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Thank you for either watching or listening to this podcast. Bye!
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.